Hello, Josef. How are you? All right.
Good. Anyway,
So today we are going to be doing speed bleed again. And now that I'm home, I can do more of it with you without having to worrying about clocking in at work at the last minute, stuff like that. So, okay.
yeah.
Speed bleed. What is it? How did it come about? What is it used for? Okay, well, what speed bleed is, can you hear me clearly?
I think you need to be louder. I
Turn
think
up turn up the volume of your device, your phone, tablet, or whatever it is? Because I'm talking pretty loud,
yeah.
actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So how about now? Can you hear me clearly now?
yeah. Clearly.
Okay. Good. Wonderful. So to kind of backtrack over what I just said, that way you can catch it. What is speed bleed? How did it come about? What is it used for? Well, speed bleed is a component of a larger system called bleed. Okay. And not to get too far into this on a tangent or anything, but it's split up into three subsystems. Speed bleed, which is what we'll be working on today. Okay. Seminar bleed, which is a little more of an in-depth version of speed bleed. There's a couple of more slashes and cut uh, angles that you're learning with a couple of more targets added. So you are effectively uh, increasing the size of your toolbox that you have to work with as far as methodologies, types of attacks, and the target areas that we destroy with the utility razor here, okay, which I have a trainer. See, it's like this. It's shaped exactly like a box cutter with the blade extended, right? So, who developed bleed? Well, that would be Mr. Michael Raymond and his son Seth Raymond. And how they came about creating bleed was they set about researching and studying hours of various kinds of security footage, CCTV footage, interviewing people that work in Border Patrol and corrections and things like that, and various law enforcement agencies throughout the East Coast, down by the Mexico border, and then up in the New England region. Well, basically all over the U.S., more or less. And what they found was that the utility razor is a tool, or if you look at it from the criminality point of view, a weapon, okay, that can be taken into non-permissive environments where maybe having a knife is definitely a no-go. Like you're not going to get past the front door if you have a knife on you. Okay, even a well-hidden ceramic blade. Let's just say that their pat downs are really that good, and then they find it. Well, chances are, if you have a utility razor on you, be it just the blade or the blade in the handle, you have a higher chance, especially if your occupation requires that you need one on you. Like if you work in a warehouse facility, let's say, and you have to break down boxes really fast, cut them up, put them in the crusher, opening various packagings that one might need a utility razor for just to open it quickly so that they can get to the product inside for whatever reason. Um, if you are into home remodels and home decorating, okay, it can be used to cut carpet, certain thicknesses of drywall, things like that. Okay, so this is a very underestimated and underutilized tool when used for self defense. Uh, so basically, what they did is they took all this research, right? All these hours of footage that they got to see, all these people that they interviewed. What they did was is they combed over it. Very, very long process where they combed over it and took the best attacks that did the most damage, both lethal and non-lethal, where you could consider them immobilizing slashes. right, to stop the person rather than necessarily take them out. But bleed can do that also very easily. Um, and then they started to develop what is the least amount of these slash attacks that we would need that when put together in a cohesive methodology, no matter which of the slash attacks that you start with within the system, okay, you could go to any of the other ones. And it's designed and structured in such a way you will not get your reflexes mixed up and turned around. You will not have stutters in your movement, and you will not make a mistake. It's designed so specifically for what it's for. You can become proficient within the bleed system in only a day or two. It's that easy to pick up. It's that easy to learn. Now, you have to put in the work, though, of training the slash drills, training the targeting, okay, making sure when your razor goes out, everything is behind it. That's you. Okay, everything that's your opponent and your attackers is on the business end of that razor. Okay. Now, do you have a trainer or an instrument that could be used as a training razor?
Right now, I don't because my box cutter went missing.
Okay. Do you have anything laying around that you could use like one? That'll work. Okay.
Yes.
So, which hand is your dominant hand? Right hand, yes? Right hand? Okay, get up. Get up. The very first slash of the speed bleed system, okay, is the vertical snap cut slash. Remember how we were doing last class with the slashing drills going for the groin, dropping as you're going spearing with the opposite hand for the eyes or for the neck, dropping, going for the groin. Now, you don't have to drop that far necessarily. You can just step and get the groin with it while striking to the face. Okay, then come right up with the razor. Speaking of their face, get their face also, say groin, face. They're going to react, right? So their hands are going to be flailing, going to their groin, going to their face, maybe even doing this, right? Trying to get you to stop. Okay, so you go groin, face, and then their hands come alive as soon as you get the groin, and their hands are going to go. So what you would do then is go groin, hands, because they're going to react. And then once the hands are, then you go and get their face. Boom. Okay, because you don't want anything to stay in your way between your razor and your opponent. If it gets in the way of this, cut it. Slash it deep. Slash it down to the bone. Cut it hard. Boom. Okay? That's part of what makes speed bleed. That's part of what puts the word speed in the name speed bleed. Is we'll cut you faster than you realize what's going on until the pain of like the third or fourth cut sets in. Then you're, oh shit, my hands and arms are ripped to shreds. Yeah. And if you don't disengage, it's going to be more than that. You know? So we do a lot of snap cutting. Going to the hands, face, groin. Okay? So we're going to do these in segments. All right? Let's go hand, face, okay? Hand, face. Hand, face.
Face.
Correct.
Hand, face.
A little more crispness to it. Hand, face. Hand, face. Quickly. Hand, face. Good. Now, while you're doing that, keep on going, because you need to learn to listen to me while you're moving. So keep on slashing. Hand, face. Okay? Now, move. Hand, face. Josef, move. Get up and start slashing. Get up. Start slashing. Move. Hand, face. Hand, face. Now add the other hand to it. Hand, face, hand. Hand, face, hand. Hand, face, hand. Getting one hand, face, other hand. Hand, face, hand. Hand, face, hand. Yes, good. Now, Reverse the order. Hand, face, hand. Opposite direction. Okay. Josef, why are you not moving?
Because the video stopped. Maybe
Did it?
poor
Okay.
connection.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, all right. So, am I moving again?
Yeah.
Okay. Hand, face, hand. Okay? Ready? Go.
Hand, face, hand,
Correct.
face, hand,
Yeah. Good.
hand, face, hand, face, hand, face, hand, face, hand,
Good.
hand,
Good.
hand, face,
Good.
hand, face.
Good. Okay, stop. Stop. Okay. Now, that's the vertical slash. Okay, the first cut of speed bleed. That's all the targets that cut is used to destroy. The hands, the face, and groin. Okay? The second and final cut of speed bleed, because it's only a two-cut system, is the punch cut. Okay? What that is it's in your strong hand, right? And you would throw it like you would a boxer's jab, except turn it over to palm down where the blade is horizontal. And the two targets that this horizontal punching cut, because you're actually punching with the part of the handle and the blade into the target and ripping past it. Whew, 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 okay? So the two targets where that's used, like I showed you yesterday, bridge of the top of the bridge of the nose going into the eye socket, either side. Okay, it'll work either side to break the nose and rip the eye, or to the base of the neck just over the collarbones. Here. Those are the only two targets that you hit with the punch cut, because that's the spots where they're designed to take out, okay? Now, we're going to add the punch cut to the eyes, to the bridge of the nose to the eyes, with the hand cut of the first slash. So vertical, punch cut. Vertical, other hand, punch cut back to the eye. Vertical, punch cut, vertical, punch cut, vertical, punch cut. Right, okay? So, now we're going to do it fighting speed. Vertical, punch cut, and go. Vertical to the hand, punch cut, the eyes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, we're going to do a three-cut combination with this next drill. It's going to go hand, okay, groin, punch cut to the lower part of the neck. So hand, groin, neck.
Groin,
Hand, groin, neck.
hand, groin,
Hand, groin, neck.
hand, groin.
Vertical, vertical, punch cut. Vertical, vertical, punch cut. Okay? Vertical, vertical, punch cut.
Is this working?
Vertical, vertical, punch cut. Hand, groin, neck. Hand, groin, neck. Vertical, vertical, punch cut. Okay? Good, good. Now, faster. Vertical, vertical, punch cut. 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 Okay, good. Now, what applications, or rather, I should ask this differently. Rather, what what scenarios would you see yourself using these kinds of attacks in?
Terrorist attack,
Terrorist
more
attack.
like terror.
Be a little
Terrorist
more
or
specific.
multiple attacker.
Okay. So when you say terrorist attack, right? Do you mean with like guns and bombs and explosives, or like handguns, melee weapons, blades? What
Blades.
see what I'm saying? What level are you talking about? I mean, because you could do good against an active shooter if you knew how to get close to him without getting shot.
Yeah.
This would actually work in that situation, but that's the thing, though, is you'd have to get close to them, and be able to slip past that barrel in order to get to the targets,
For the long throw.
especially the neck.
Yep.
Like if someone's dealing with you with that, and you can get the drop on them for just a second to get close enough and get past that barrel, punch cut right through the neck right there, tear it open, and make sure they don't fire at you. Just kind of pin the gun down on them. You're fine. Stop it. Quit it. Quick. God damn it. Stop,
Were
Joe.
you ready? Were you ready for me?
Sure.
Ah.
Yeah. God damn it.
I had to laugh.
Oh my God.
Ah, you ready for me?
Joe, stop, man. Go away. God. You dork.
Come on, dude. That was funny, dude.
You're a dork.
I couldn't resist.
That was my roommate, by the way. God. Anyway, okay. So, punch cut goes to the eyes, right? Bridge of the nose, throat, and then the vertical goes to both hands, the groin, and the face. Okay? So when you think about it, the pattern forms a cross. When you think about it. So, speed bleed is all about getting that offensive slash first. Now, they can move first, trying to attack you, right? But you can cut them first. Okay? As soon as you see this, go forward and slash, and that was a vertical to the face and a punch cut to the neck. Boom. Boom. Okay? As quick as that was. As soon as you see this, and you feel that intent of they're focused on you, close that gap and you slash. Or you could hit with the butt of the razor, bludgeoning. But we're not going to do that, though. That's not an official strike of speed bleed. It's just an idea of what you could do. If you needed, say, to knock, if their hands are in a guard, let's say, and they have a weapon, slash the weapon hand, or if they're barehanded, use the butt of the razor, slam it into their arm, knock it down, and then come right up and vertical slash to their face or punch cut to the eye. So they could be here, let's say, right? And then I'm ready, and then wham, punch cut right to the eye. Slam, vertical, okay? That's just a way to get someone's guard down that has a really strong guard. Maybe they're really strong. That's just a good way to try to hit and crack the bone to make it move out of an injury, and then the blade goes in and does the work with the two cut methods. Okay? So, that's, a way if you feel cutting the arm is not necessary, but you still need to get past them to get to their face, which, by the way, if you're committed on cutting their face, cut the arm. So, 1, 2. Okay? Hand, arm, either way, through here, slash, come up and get the face. Or slash, punch cut, which would... Okay. So, any questions, comments, concerns, Josef?
No, so far. No, so far.
Okay. And would you say you have a good understanding of what I'm teaching you so far?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
I
So
do.
if you would please, Mr. Yu, uh, describe to me the two cuts that the speed bleed system uses and what targets do they go for?
Okay. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, vertical
Yeah.
and diagonal.
Okay.
Diagonal and vertical.
Well, actually, you're close. Vertical and horizontal, because it's like this.
Horizontal. Yeah,
Yeah. You're
horizontal.
okay. You're okay though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understood what you meant. It was just for clarity, because I am filming this class, so I'm just making sure. And don't worry, it's not going up on YouTube. Only my instructors are going to see this. Okay. So
Hmm.
very good. Now, what are the targets the vertical cut goes for, and why do they go for them?
The vertical cuts. It goes to face
Uh,
and hands and
uh,
groin.
yes, sir. Now, can you tell me why the vertical cut would go to those specific targets?
So, sorry, why the
Right.
vertical
Where
cuts
the hands
doesn't go
are.
over?
Okay. Let me ask it in a little more of a direct way. Okay. Take the target of the hands, for example, right? For the vertical cut. Why would the vertical cut target the hands? What are some reasonings why that would be a viable target?
To if it's snake, it's to destroy the fang first, to
Okay.
disable it first.
Yes. Very good. Okay. Very nice that you know that concept and I didn't have to explain it to you. Very good. You might be surprised at how a lot of people over here in the West, they don't know what defanging the snake necessarily means unless they do like Arnis or Kali, or like one of the Filipino knife arts. Then they understand what it means because they use that a lot with those systems. But people necessarily that don't train in FMA, they usually 9 times out of 10 don't know what that is, or they do, but they call it by a different phrasing. Um, which I believe is called bulldogging. Like if you do the McMap K-bar knife system of the U.S. Marine Corps, then they call it bulldogging, where you're rapidly cutting within the box. The box is wide as your shoulders, and here, right, and you're cutting at all the targets you can get to. We do that in speed bleed, basically, is you're going to cover your arteries, right? Raising your shoulders over your neck, tucking in your chin, making sure it's not available for your enemy to cut, and you're going after theirs to open theirs up. Okay? So, in a manner of speaking, with the vertical cut, with speed bleed, in a very real way, that's kind of like our way of bulldogging those targets until there's nothing left. So, like if I'm cutting the hands, right? I'm wanting to get the thumb, backs of the fingers, even at the knuckles here, because this will keep the hand from being able to close. Okay, going across the back of the wrist. If you catch them inside, here at the wrist, this way though, not this way. This way bleeds them out and kills them. This way though, cuts deep into the tendon, nerves, muscle. Okay, um, and then of course once again, thumb, fingers, palm if you can, lay open the palm. Cutting here at the tiger mouth, this is a very nasty spot to get cut with a razor, especially if it's deep. Oh man, they're not grabbing anything with this fillet open. I can guarantee that. So, as far as defanging the snake, those are some actual target areas that I teach to use with the hand cutting drills. Which, by the way, that's more Not so much accuracy with the slash, with like the exact target that you're cutting. It's more like your blade is the blade of like a garbage disposal, you know? Okay? And their hands getting stuck in the garbage disposal. Just all of it. Get it all. Destroy that whole hand. Make him like Anakin Skywalker when he lost his hand and, Darth Vader's just got the one hand and the robotics. Just make him like that. Make him need a prosthetic hand because it's so chewed up. Digits missing, fingers gone, palm, back of the hand, wrist all opened up like he has nothing. So when we say
like
so when we say like in the bleed system, go for his hands, destroy his hands, and we literally mean that. That's what you're looking for, the kind of damage that you're looking for. It's like it's mangled, maybe gone. Maybe it's gone. Maybe you're really good at those cuts, really strong and fast. Maybe you damn near took it off. Okay? So yeah, so when we say in the bleed system, destroy the target with your razor, no matter where it is, okay? No matter where, okay? And we even have one. This is in one of the other subsystems, though, not speed bleed, which we're studying now. But we have one where we even slash their cheek open, almost like a half Joker smile. Huh. So, and then we even go for the eyes. Then we go for across the throat this way. Just a few of the other cuts that you'll be learning later on, though, because you have to finish speed bleed first. Now, the next step, okay, after speed bleed is seminar bleed. That one adds 3 more cuts and adds really 2 more targets, more or less. Well, really 1 more because, no, 2 more. Because for the punch cut, you were attacking the side of the neck, ripping back towards the neck bone and coming back the same way. So it's not technically a throat slash, but that would be one you would be learning in the next system, which is called seminar bleed. And that's a 5-cut system. So you have the punch cut and vertical cut from speed bleed, right? Then you have 3 more cuts that are added with a couple of more targets in seminar bleed, so now you have a 5-cut system. Then from there, and really this third one is the biggest chunk, is how I'll put it, the biggest chunk of bleed as a whole. This next one, the third one, is where you're going to learn the most, combat bleed, okay? That has 15 attacks to it, 15. 3 of which are barehanded attacks to certain targets on the opponent's body, which I'll get into in detail when we get ready to cross that particular bridge. It's too soon right now, but you have a lot in the system that you can learn. There's even, believe it or not, a barehanded equivalent to the bleed system, where you don't use the razor, just your hands. It's called bloody hands. And it's taught in companion with the bleed system as a whole and the 3 subsystems, speed, seminar, and combat. So when you certify in speed bleed from me, and you've tested and certified that you can teach it, I might start you on bloody hands before you certify so you'll know both. Actually, I haven't decided if I'm going to do it before you certify or teach it to you after you certify in speed bleed. But either way, I am going to teach you bloody hands. So you'll know the complete barehanded version of bleed with only one of the subsystems. And if you want to go forward, right, to the other 2, seminar and in combat, you would be more than welcome to if you wanted to. Now, here's the thing about combat bleed, the third and final one that makes it so special and why there's so much of it, like saved until the very end is what you're learning, is you become, under me, what's called one of my cardinals. What that would mean is I could patch you in to become a full bleed instructor where you can teach all 3 of the systems like how I can. And you'll have, under me, your own combat bleed instructor number, like I have. Mine is BC/065/24, okay? My lineage within the bleed system, my branch of it, okay, of the bleed association and bleed family is in the 200 range. So let's say you were my first full instructor patch-in for bleed, right? And you're my first combat bleed cardinal that I patch in and rank. Your number exactly, since you'd be my first one, because my branch starts at the 200s. So you would be BC 200 dash, if it's done this year, 24, if it's done next year, 25, right? So you have the bleed system that you are certified in, your instructor number, and then the year that you became the instructor under that teacher of the bleed system. So if you were to be my first one, you would be BC 200. If your brother Nick Godsey is the first one to patch in under me, then that would be his. Yours would be BC 201. See what I'm saying? And then, so mine goes from 200 to 299. And that's all the cardinals I can teach, because I can only teach 99 men or women to become combat bleed masters. But the cool thing is if they want their own lineage branch, if you will, you'd have to test before the Bleed Council at the headquarters, which is up in Hamlin, New York. And they could give you your own bleed lineage branch serial number series. See what I'm saying? Which is a very prestigious thing within this system. I was thrilled when I passed my test and I was able to patch in. I remember what my test was. So what I'm going to do when you reach that point where you feel you're ready and I can see that you're ready, I can do the test the way they did for me remotely. If you wanted to do it in person, I am open to that, but we would both have to save up some serious money and one of us travel to the other one in order for this to happen. Speaking on that possibility, do you think it would be easier for me to come to you or you to come to me? If you were to want to do it in person.
Yes, you come to me.
Yeah?
Because the visa is easier and everything is cheaper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything is much cheaper.
Well, okay. And I do like things that are a lot less expensive. I might consider that, but I have to get my U.S. passport first, though. And then get all my checkups for international travel, all that stuff, especially for the region that I'll be going to. So where in Indonesia are you?
In Bandung City, in Java Island.
Okay.
It's near Thailand.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
And next to Bali. You know Bali, a famous place. Yeah, it's on the next island.
Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, so that's more, about the bleed system and how it's structured. And now if you did not want to become a combat bleed instructor, which I would understand if you didn't, because not everybody wants to. Some just want to certify within the first two, which is fine. And you can still legally teach it to others, But I would recommend, though, reach for the top and become a combat bleed instructor, because you'll know the whole system once you do. And I'm not going to say what, but I would have a surprise system to teach you, but I can't teach you until you are fully patched in to the bleed system. That's the only way I can teach this prize system to you. And I think you would like it, honestly, because all I'll say about it is how bleed is very structured, right? This one, it's more of a concept, is how I'll put it. But once your inner mind clicks with that concept and it's, oh, that's what it is, I can do that. Very little short of a bullet is going to stop you. I'll just put it like that. Very little short of a close range bullet is going to stop you with what I would have in store to train you in when you're fully certified in bleed. And once you know all 3 segments or subsystems, you can reach out to me to patch in and video test in it whenever you wish. I'm not going to say, oh, well, you have to wait this X amount of time. You have to wait this length. No, because I believe every student, because we're all different as people, we all learn and are ready to go to the next step at different rates. Some of us learn incredibly fast. Others of us, we have to take our time and make sure we understand every step that we're making, which is fine either way. Like, for instance, right, when I was testing for my cardinal rank, which that's what you're actually called in the system, by the way. When you're fully patched in and you're a combat bleed instructor, you're what's known as a cardinal because you'll have a number. That's part of what makes you a cardinal. And you would get 2 patches. One patch that is a bloody handprint, and the other that, well, is a red cardinal, which are very special patches. They are earned, not sold and not given. They're earned. I hope perhaps you would want to earn those patches. Because if you only certify in speed and seminar bleed, you do get the bloody handprint patch. Okay, because that's the main symbol of the system. But you don't get the cardinal patch. Cardinal patch means that you know all of it. You know the entire bleed system. And I feel I would not be doing my job as a teacher if I didn't teach you the entire system. Do you think you would want to learn it all? Or would you want to stop at a certain point?
I'll see how far we can go. I'll see how far I can.
Fair enough. That's fair. Okay. All right. Well, just know that option to become one of my cardinals and to possibly be either BC 200 or BC 201, whichever, okay, that is open to you whenever you feel you want to go that far. So here's what we'll do. Can I take it more or less that on a weekly basis, around this time, we can have a video class like this? Because if we can, that would be very good. That would mean that we can regularly train, speak with each other, see each other on a weekly basis, and I can evaluate how your practice is going. Now, a couple of things with the traditions of bleed, okay? And this is not your fault because I did not prepare you for this yet because I didn't know if you wanted to continue. But now that I know you do, I'm going to explain a little more of the class etiquette and how we conduct ourselves on the training floor, be it virtual or we're in person during a bleed class, okay? So, like, when I tell you to grab a training instrument, whether it's like an ink pen or whether it's an actual training razor or a row razor with the blade taken out, you know, whatever it is that you're going to use, when I say stand up, what I mean is grab that tool that you're going to use for the class, get up. Don't say anything after we've done our greeting of hello and all that. Because when you're on the training floor and you're doing the slash drills and you're doing the cut drills, which we will start doing cut practice. So what you'll need to gather for the next week's class, pieces of cardboard you can cut. Do you have access to an actual razor blade, whether it's a small square one or a box cutter blade, anything like that, where you can actually do cut practice on like actual material? Huh?
I can get one. I guess normal box cut, right?
Yes, sir. Correct. Yes, a normal box cutting razor. Yes, like this.
I have one. I mean,
Here, I'll show you. Like this. Right? Like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Put it back in the... Yeah. Box cutter. So, because we're going to be doing live medium cut practice, like plastic bottles of water, cardboard boxes, stuff like that. Okay? Because you need to get used to cutting into something that's going to resist the blade instead of just cutting the air. Because just cutting the air will only take you so far. It will build your stamina, it will build your hand-eye coordination and your reflexes, okay? But you need to get used to actually, like, cutting something, and I don't have anything to cut right now, but cutting something with some resistance to it, so when your razor hits it, you'll get used to that feeling, because it will jar your wrist a little bit if you're not used to it, and you try to do a cut fast. By the way, when you cut, always lead with the tip of the razor blade. Always. Get it in and rip down, or to the side, or across, or out, however that you're ripping, or twist and rip, which is one of my favorite ways, like going for the eyes, stab in, twist in the socket, and rip it out with the blade. It'll take the eye out. Yes, we do attacks like that where we will stab you in the eye with the box cutter and scoop it right out of the socket. Yes, we will. Because if you're dealing with someone that's high on drugs and they're trying to harm you, maybe worse, do you want to take a chance on just cutting their arm or their hand and then possibly not feel it? Or do you want to hit a target where you're certain they're going to react even if it's moderate, to at least let go or whatever? Then you can kick or stomp the top of their ankle or top of their foot, break their ankle, and then they can't taste it because now they have a broken ankle. High or no, if your ankles can't hold you up, you're not running. So that would be a quick escape way to get the attacker shocked off of you with the eye stab, ripping eye stab, and then stomp the top of the foot where it meets the ankle joint, and slightly sideways and back, and it'll snap in half. Or you could stomp the ankle and splash the face. I mean, it's up to you. But either way, the point that I'm making is if the danger and the threat level that you feel and read in the situation is severe enough, or you have reasonable belief, hey, if I let that person get too close to me, then they're going to hurt me, or maybe worse. Some people you can just tell when they got that kind of intention in mind. So the minute you feel that, something feels off, and let's say you have a closed razor in your pocket, just casually reach in your pocket and grab a hold of it and get ready when your hand comes out of your pocket to deploy it and either slash or stab multiple times to get them off of you, away from you, or off of or away from somebody else that you're trying to protect them from. Something like that. You want to be sure that when this goes out, that it's going to do its job. You want to make sure you're used to the sensation of it cutting through clothing, skin, nicking across bone, okay? Doing these cut practices with these different mediums, cardboard, plastic bottles, polymer clay is a really good one, the kind that you have to keep wet, okay? That simulates almost exactly the same density as human skin and muscle tissue. So that will give you a real approximation with your razor what slashing a human's arm or hand or face would actually feel like with that polymer clay. Okay, just make sure that you store it properly like the directions say so that it doesn't dry out, because once it's dried out, it's basically useless. So this is for slashing practice, okay? Polymer clay, plastic water jugs, cardboard boxes, stuff like this. These are what we use to hone our craft, barring short of using it on an actual person, of course. So we're used to the cuts. And in fact, our next class, I'll make sure that I have the same. So I'll be cutting with you. Like how I do the slash drills with you, same thing. I'm going to be doing the cutting with you, the stabbing cutting with you. So you'll be used to the pressure, the feedback pressure of when the blade pierces and slashes something thick and dense. Okay, because that's important. Because if you have, like, say, like a Gerber brand box cutter, like how I do, see, Gerber. Well, sometimes this locking mechanism here that holds the razor in, sometimes it fails mid-cut when I'm doing cut practice on actual objects, and you'll hear it sound like a ping, and this will fly out of the handle. And there's times when I've done it where I've caught it, like exactly like this, and kept slashing. That's very rare that happens, and it's even rarer that I'm able to grab it that clean and not cut myself mid-move. But that's the kind of reflexes this razor system gives you. And I literally swear by that. As a matter of fact, while I was actively training in bleed when I was still in apprentice, before I became a cardinal, my own instructor commented how at least every couple of days I'd be getting faster by so many times. I am 2 to 3 times faster now than I was before I started bleed. Was your eyes able to track all that movement that I did?
Yes, that's fast.
See? And very quickly, I mimicked a face slash, like if I'm going for my own face in the camera angle. Eyes. Cheek. Punch cut. Vertical again. That was 2.
Yeah, people won't see it coming.
That was 3. See? Bleed gets you fast. Bleed gets you fast. Huh? You see what I did there? Yeah. Anyway. But yeah.
Like people won't see it coming.
Well, they won't see it coming. Because you saw my hand move, the blur of my hand, but you didn't see the razor. And this is solid black. And you didn't even see this. So imagine how much more less you can track when it's a light color, like steel. Huh? Literally, speed bleed. Bleed period, okay? I'm going to be honest. It's the top of the food chain of utility razor and box cutter combat systems. Now, there's a few more out there. There are, that other combat knife groups have made their own versions of. But we are the original, and I'm not feeding you bullshit here. I'm being factually accurate with this. Bleed is the original utility knife combat system. It was developed by Mike and Seth Raymond, okay, years ago, actually. The original concept that started off that what would become Bleed now. It had very humble beginnings way back in the early 2000s, which they focused on other combative and knife systems for a few years, but then they circled back to the utility knife and how very little was even done about it, if anything at all, as far as combative systems. Sure, there were some combatives that had elements of straight razor combat in them, box cutters, stuff like that, but nothing where it was centered around the folding and the fixed blade box cutters as that's your main tool you use. That is how you survive a lethal encounter, is with the utility razor. And when they created what is now Bleed, a lot of other groups are jealous. I'm just going to say this right now. A lot of other groups are jealous because they can't be like us. They can't do what we do the way we do it. They cannot get the results as physically fast in their students as we can with ours. And by the way, I showed my instructor your bleed demo with me the other day because I did film a little small portion of it, and he said that you're moving great.
Thank you.
Of course. So yeah, that concludes your first speed bleed class with me. Now back to the traditions of the classes and then the etiquette. Sorry, I got sidetracked with the history and why we go after certain targets. Okay, and the mentality that we're using and the aggression level that we're physically and mentally using when we attack those targets, like how I explained with the hand in the garbage disposal, analogy. Yeah, just rip it up, right. So every class, even if it's something small and cheap that you get from the convenience store, okay, something to drink and something to eat. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just for after class. That's when we would do our Q&A, catch up with each other on how we're doing in our respective parts of the world, what's going on, things like that. When you're on the training floor and class is happening, no social communication, except for me giving you direction on the next series of drills and cut attacks and tests that I would have you doing, which I would be doing with you, of course. But while we are having active class, where we're both up on our feet, there is no social communication whatsoever, except for the proctor and teacher giving the directions for the class. Okay, all banter, chit-chat, and all that is for after, when we have our snack and something to drink, and, that's when social communication happens. Any questions, comments, concerns, parallels you noticed, anything at all that you are curious about or want to know, or anything?
Like during training session, can I raise my hand if I got a question or something?
That's the entire thing. No, the questions wait until after the class. That's when you would ask, is afterwards, after we're cooling down and we're done with the session. If there's something that you didn't understand, now I will say the slash attack and the order of the targets twice, only twice. If you do not start moving by the second time I say to do a certain slash attack drill with certain targets, then we will stop class for that session, as you are considered not listening. As an instructor, I do not tolerate that. I seem very laid back, but I'm very staunch when it comes to my students reacting when I say to do a drill or to do a slash flow or material cutting practice to practice your cutting angles and your accuracy and depth of cut. So I only say any command twice. My hope is you're moving after the first one, so I don't have to say it again. But I give everyone 2 shots. Say, Josef, vertical cut, face. Josef, vertical cut, face. Okay, that's 2. If you have not moved, and this is during class, if you have not moved or even tried to move, then I will stop class. I will bid you goodbye, and you have to wait till the following week to try with me again. Yes, I'm that staunch. You do exactly as told. You wait on all conversation and questions until after class, and when I say move, by God, by the seat of your ass, you move. And I only tell you twice. You don't move after try number 2, well then we stop and we wait till next week. Okay, so you understand what I'm saying, right? And what I mean. Okay. Yeah.
There could be internet connections and language barrier.
That's okay.
I mean, so if I don't move, it's usually because the video suddenly stops, lags, video lags, or I got to process the comment.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, well then I'll tell you what. For you, I'll raise the number to 4 times. 4. That should be fair. Now, if the glitch is so long you can hear me but you don't see me move, if you can hear me speak in real time, you already know the cuts, you already know the targets, so what's the problem? Move. See what I'm saying? If you already know what the cuts are, you already know what targets that they're attacking, you shouldn't have to see me move. I should just say it and you hear my voice and you say, okay, vertical cut to the face, punch cut to the eye, or vertical to the hand and the groin and then punch cut to the neck. You should be able to crack that off within a second or two.
I have no, I have no bad intention, like not listening or something. Yeah, so it's language barrier or video lags
You're okay.
because the connection is
fine.
poor here.
Oh, no, you're fine, Josef. I'm just explaining that, okay, you already know what the vertical slash is because you explained it to me nearly perfectly earlier, and you know what the punch cut is, and you know what targets that they attack specifically. So I'm saying when the video gap happens where you don't see me move but you can still hear me speak live, listen to my voice and what direction that it's giving you. Because I guarantee you, whatever I'm calling out, even if you can't see me in real time for you to do, I'm doing the exact same thing. So when our video feed does sync up, you'll see me doing the same slash attacks you're doing, going for the same targets, is what I'm explaining to you. So when you hear me say, Josef, get up and vertical slash the face and punch cut the eye, you know exactly what that is. You know what the vertical slash to the face and punch cut to the eye is. So I could call that out. You should be able to jump into your ready position with your guard up. Remember, everything behind the razor that's you, everything that's your opponent is on the business end. So when I say, Josef, jump up and slash the face with the vertical and then punch cut the eye socket, I should see.
And
see what I mean? I should see
and
that.
To aid and to aid the learning, I may repeat the words like
You're fine.
vertical slash to hand or something.
That's fine. That's fine. That's absolutely not an issue. That's fine. That is just fine. Yes. You know, if that helps you to process it and get to moving, sure, go ahead, do that. Plus, that's a good way. Plus, that's a good way to reinforce it in your memory, also. So, being that it's a very small part of the whole system, there's going to be a lot of overlap of slash attacks, obviously, and there's going to be a lot of overlap of targets because speed bleed is meant to be very, very small and very, very quick. Okay. So I'm thinking, based on the fact that I know that you study World War II combatives, okay, and I know what some of those are like because I studied the Feldenkrais method, actually, for the chokes. Yeah. So I do too, actually, also. Just not the Fairburn. I do the Feldenkrais method. But, yeah. So I understand the potential of how quickly you can learn a new direct movement and how quickly you can apply it. Because I've seen all your videos of practice that you've shared over the years off and on. And by the way, you've made a tremendous leap from how you were moving when you and me started talking years ago, when you would show me some of your knife work, some of your stick work, which wasn't bad. Okay? Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that how you were was bad. Hello? Okay. I'm not saying that how you used to move. You're okay. I'm not saying that how you used to move those few years ago was bad. I'm just saying that now when I see you move, compared to back then, it's a night and day difference. You have better slash control. You have better target focusing. And I can tell that you have more, how do I want to say, more follow through now. When you do a slash, a cut, or even a stab, you have more of your body into the slashes and the stabs. Whereas before, yeah, you were cutting them. Yeah, you were stabbing them, but it was just your arm movements. Now that's okay for what it is. But if you really want to make sure what you're doing is going to have the effect on the target that you're attacking, the way you want it, the way you're seeing it up here, you have to put your body into the razor and your intention of the attack at the target into the razor, and then let it do the work. Because that's just to get it there, right? It's just to get it there. Once it's there, see, and I'm in the cover position, fully covered. Once it's there, now you can lay that wound open. Maybe hit him with the offhand. Maybe for just a second, you're violently grabbing a chunk of flesh or hair, and you're coming in quicker. Let go just before the blade gets there, because remember, everything behind the razor, and you slash or stab and rip. Either way, finish what you start. Always be cutting. Do not stop cutting until the threat is neutralized, whether it's by them fleeing or them expiring. Either way, the choice is up to them, not you, because you don't stop. Only they can get you to stop by either running away or you finish them. Should you ever have to use this, never talk to the law enforcement. That's what lawyers are for. You don't talk to the cops. I don't know if where you live, you have the right to remain silent if you're ever picked up for defending yourself with a blade. But if you do have that right, when you are arrested, use it. Do not talk to the police as much as you can avoid legally. Let your lawyer do all the talking, because that's literally what they're paid to do. We're not paid to talk to cops and judges. That's what lawyers are for. Okay? So, all right. It's been an hour. Our lesson is coming to an end. Josef, I will see you. Thank you, son. I will see you next week, okay?
Okay. See you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes. Remember, cardboard, plastic bottles, and get an actual razor, okay? Because we're going to do some slash practice next class. All right.
Okay.
And something to eat and drink for afterwards. Okay, it's very important. All right, then.
Yeah.
See.
Thank you.
Of course.